Hey there, everybody. Yeah, just waiting on a friend, aren't we all? I tell you, these days, keep your friends even closer. Welcome, everyone. Favor be unto us all. Bosto, be of service to others. That's the key. Full restoration, nothing missing, nothing broken. Happy birthday. Hello, everybody in the chat room. Giving a shout out to Big Al and Perry. They can't watch us anymore. They put cameras inside the cab. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Big brothers everywhere. Ugh. Wow. Anyway, so hey, Big Al, Perry, we love you. Keep safe out there on the road, gentlemen, and we just surround you with lots of favor. And so, make sure. I hope you're doing this. I mean, this is good therapy. I actually had a psychiatrist. That's what she does. She psychoanalyzes people, and she said, your idea of the virtual hug. She said that is the most therapeutic thing. She said she might even start writing a paper on it. So, anyway, so we give everyone the old virtual hug and, make sure, you keep it sane. So, virtual hug to everybody. Uh, Rod, any better, I'd be guilty. But then again, I was never that innocent. So I do excellent. I am excellent and had a great time in meditation. Um, Actually, Lilith came by. Very interesting conversation. Lilith has been very active lately. There are things afoot. That's all I can say. So, hello, all the moderators. How are you? Hello, all the other chat room and everyone else listening. Hello, just seen it. Hey, Isby, what's up? Hello, Jenny. What's up there? Stephanie, good to see you. Robert V is in the house. Peter, hello. Marsha Price. Marsha, I'd like to really get with you on that email you sent. I'm going to mention it today, but there's some that's good mind candy. Austin Space, hello. And Karen, Lynn, good to see you. Susan, Rod, hello again. Paul from Newcastle. Infallible Destruct. I lost that. Hello, peace. Stellar Core, greetings to see you. Sarah K, hello, much love to you. Robin as well, and also known as the Morning Star, John Price. Jackson, how are you doing? I heard that they deleted your channel. Well, that's why I do what I do. Record it. They ever do it? I'll just repost it. Plus, there are 3 different websites that are tracking everything that I do here. So they have one out there as well. So let's see what else. Reality notification. That's a groovy thing. I like that. So, and favors right back at you, Robert V. Scotty Boy. Big Al, good to see you. All right. Ba-boom. How's your Saturday and Sunday? I always consider it either the first part of the week or the strong end of the week. I don't like the term weekend. No matter how you define that, you're always on the ass end of it, no matter how you look at it. So, dark winter is here. It's a fact. Um, I ain't digging it. Not digging the scene at all. I have to tell you, it's just not a groovy scene at all. We need Arlo Guthrie back. He needs to sing a round of Aunt Alice's Restaurant, and then we all need to join in 3-part harmony and tell the people in the Washington that, hey, get over all this hate nonsense. I got to tell you what, it ain't a cool scene at all. It sucks. And wow, lots of stuff to really keep you distracted. But I say, if they're trying to distract you, then why? And actually, this is probably some of the best time to do the training, do the inner work. Get into those meditative sessions where, you don't have to go through the 15-step program. You can meditate in a second. You can be walking down the street and meditate. It's not that big of a deal. Everyone has tried to mystify it when it's as natural as breathing. We are directly connected to the spirit realm. We don't need to be taught. The only thing that we need to be taught is how to disconnect. And unfortunately, in our society, in this modern technocratic environment, it's all about disconnecting us from the spirit. Confuse us, Then you put in, the microwave radiation in the background, and man, is it any wonder we are where we are? But you can meditate. And the thing about it is, folks, each and every one of you, and moi included, your body's going to leave you. You're going to depart it. Death is nothing more than a release. It's a release back to where we all came from. Now, we all don't have the same origins, but we all come from that other side. Hey, Blazing River, what's up? Yes, Alice's Restaurant is a fabulous. The movie was actually really good. I was when you said that, Blazing River, I was right back in that theater there in Houston, Texas. Anyway, I digress. But yeah, and we live it's becoming so technocratic. It sucks. Let me just say to everyone that's in that scheme, that's a bad form of government. It just is bad. Bad, 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 bad. Bad, 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 bad. And, everyone is just, you go outside, man, and it's like walking into a pressure cooker. So I carry this with me around. Hold on, let me just show you.
Relax, calm down now. Don't stress. Take it easy.
Did you get that? All right, everyone. Oh, there you go.
Relax, calm down now. Don't stress. Take it easy.
All right. So we all should be in our Zen place. Exactly. It's when you get into that place of connecting to the other side, it gives you a good view of this side. It really does. And it's just truth. So how many of you have seen the story that broke this morning about what happened in Washington, D.C.? It's not like there's already enough, but there was a sign of the heavens given. How many of you picked up on it? This is now the second sign given to America where the Washington Monument was concerned. The first message, everyone missed it. I was breaking away from Christianity at that point, but I was in DC. I was in New York City where both of those events happened. And it's amazing how I look back and we all missed it. The prophecy that happened with the Washington Monument, and I believe that it was in the Obama administration, 2009, 2010, the earthquake that hit the Del Mar area in there. And the prophecy that was actually, it was a warning. When the monument was cracked, it was telling everyone there was a division coming. No one picked up on it. And this sign was giving up to New York City, right to Wall Street itself. I was right there. I seen it for myself. And now what happened last night, I have to tell you, when I saw what happened, it immediately hit me, and I went, "Oh crap!" And here's what I got: the light no longer shines on Washington D.C. The dark Sith has assumed control, and ascendancy has been postponed. The lights went out on the Washington Monument, and it's significant. No one knows how, no one knows why. The fact that it happened the way it did, when it happened, and the way it took place is a clear sign. And we shall see. We shall see how far the dark winter goes, but it's a very ominous sign. And that's just my opinion. Everyone else can say, well, maybe they didn't pay the electric bill. And with the federal government being broke, that's very real possibility. But anyway, what say y'all? I'm just going to stop and drink my tea and see about what everyone has to say. That is, and pass it around. I was awakened with this, and it was spoken to me. That's exactly what it said. The light no longer shines on Washington, D.C. The dark Sith has assumed control. Ascendancy has been postponed. So hey, Brenda, what's up? Milky Way's mom, good to see you, my dear. Trust everything is going well. Jennifer, well, cheers to you, hon. Cheers. So thank you, Kent Cook. Yeah, I mean, that's just my opinion, but hey, yeah, it was, I don't know about anything. That's just what came to me. So uh, you know, go out there on the astral plane and talk to your ancestors, talk to your spirit guides. And many of us have more than one. We come from a tribe, folks. We literally do. It's not this crap, So I think it's the 23rd or so. I'm going to be over on Ryder Lee's channel, Walking with Giants. But I wrote him ahead, and we're going to talk on his show when we record this, and then he'll post it. Let's see. Carol says, wasn't DC a corporation and Trump? DC is a corporation. Yes, it is. Some believe that the reason why those fences around all the federal buildings is that they have been repossessed. They have been seized. And we're going to talk about that. It's very, very synchronicity kind of flowing through here. Someone says, what's the shirt? The shirt is, there we go, the Anakarana. The Anakarana. I love this symbol. I identify with it. We have it all up around the house, and I'm getting more stuff with it. It's a powerful thing. Let's see. So here's an interesting fact. And I speak of this as a licensed and ordained minister. I can still marry you, and I can still bury you legally. But anyway, isn't it odd that in the Bible there is no mention of any Christian God? Say what? It's a fact. In the Bible, there is no mention of a Christian God by name. Boom. So there we go. It's a powerful symbol, Jenny. It truly, truly is. Isby says, I'm ordained to see. Look at what we got going on here. I'm telling you. There's Steve Zerloff. There we go. Good to see you. That is, yeah, think about it, Carol. Absolutely. So think about it. I challenge you. And like I said, we'll talk more with Ryder on this subject, because when you begin to think about it, you go, whoa, 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 wait a minute, time out, dude. I mean, this is what our laws are based upon, right? Well, you're going to find out the United States is not a Christian religion. In fact, we made a declaration, our government did. But anyway, so that's just one of those things. I mean, I'm going, why didn't I ask this question 50 years ago? Do you know how much guilt, um, repentance, guilt, depressed, sorry, loved it, felt so good. Oh, I'm so sorry. You know, that psychological crap that goes around and around and around and around. Um, yeah, I know all about Mario. I've done a lot of videos on him, Blazing River. So thank you about that. And it's a cycle. In fact, it's a spell. That's what it is. And most people never realized it. I didn't realize it either. It's like, what? What the hell are you talking about, a spell? Yes, 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 it is. It is. It is. So, how many of you who are here in America actually believe that you, as a citizen, we the people, right? How many of you, and I'm going to go slow on this because I want to see what people in the chat room say. How many of you actually believe that you, as a citizen, have rights? Let's see how up to date we are on our civics and our government. So, and you can't just simply say, oh, well, man, it might be yes, it might. No, 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 no. If you're going to answer, tell me why you answered the way you answered. So, anyone know? Boom, 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 boom. Do, 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 do. I love how people are writing. Well, anyway, so there's a document that it's about law. You and I are nothing more than chattel. That's all we are. We are under an illusion that we are a citizen. Some people actually believe that they are sovereign. Hmm. There is so much that we don't know about law. In fact, most of our electorate today don't know either. And in fact, most of the courts, you literally have to bring out these cases when you are in a court and you're predicating your court on what they call standing, then it has a legal precedence. And again, so I want to show you David Swartz, Black Law, decides to citizen as a slave. David, you've got the prize. Approve that, moderators. There we go. You've got it. Absolutely. We are slaves. In fact, did you know, Americans, that for the first three presidents of the United States, the citizens weren't allowed to vote? In fact, the way that the process is actually defined, it's only an illusion that the citizens have the right to vote. No. Do you know that there's no way you can get a sitting president out as a citizen? No. And so how did all this become so much where I've shown you what the true peacetime flag of the United States is? I had a discussion with a professor on this, debated me on this, and he finally reached the conclusion. He says, I have to admit that there is precedent in what you have said. But he went on to say, and I always like that, it's like, yeah, you're right, but let me just tell you why you're still wrong. But he was right in the fact that with the United States, there was confusion about the nation's flag. This is not something new. That's why there's great confusion today that most Americans don't realize. In fact, the world abroad does not understand that the United States of America flies the Maritime Admiralty flag, the war banner flag. And when that flag is gilted, we are representing not the United States, the common law, we are representing the Admiralty maritime law. Now, I have something I wish to share with you because my theme today, I got up and I said, well, let's not do that. Why didn't that work? Okay. There we go. So, David, this is going to put what you just said where everybody realizes. The term is the Constitution. You have to break down that word because the first word of that is a con. It's a verb to commit to memory right down to the jokes they supposedly ad-libbed. We the people is what they call a caption. A captionism is a word that changes its meaning and sometimes pronunciation when it is capitalized. Definition, homonyms. They have the same spelling, but which have different meanings and perhaps different pronunciations when capitalized. Now, we have to get studied right here to the law. All of these are case law. If you are so inclined to fact check my ass, well, just go ahead and fact check my ass. There is the cases. Legal precedent is being set here. Our survey of the legal landscape it existed in March 1989 indicates that, in general, members of the public have no constitutional right to be protected by the state from harm inflicted by third parties. That's why you can't sue these cities where they had their riots. The states are not obligated to protect you. Only the federal government is. So, the Judge Posner in this case went on to say, the Constitution is a charter of negative liberties, negative liberties. It tells the state to let we, the people of the United States, alone. It does not require their agency, federal government, or their states to provide services. Even so, elementary a service as maintaining law and order for those not a party to the contract, the Constitution. Thus, because there is no constitutional duty to provide such protection for the public at large, the state's failure to do so is not actionable under Section 42, the U.S. Code, case number 1983, civil action for deprivation of rights of the United States, the U.S.C. Code, emphasis added. He went on to say, but indeed, no person has a right to complain by suit in court on the ground of a breach of the Constitution. The Constitution, it is true, is a compact contract, but is not, meaning the plaintiff here, he is not party to it. The states are a party to it. This is what people don't understand. American citizens are not, how shall we say, a part of the Constitution. We did not sign it. The signers signed it for their own selves and for their direct posterity. And that ain't you and I, baby. So this means the people does not include you and me. Do you get it? The Constitution was ordained and established by the people of the United States for themselves, for their own government, and not for the government of the individual states. Each state established a constitution. Ever ask yourself, why does your state have a state constitution? For itself. And in that constitution provided such limitations and restrictions on the power of its particular government as its judgment dictated. Now, what this is about is really taxes. See, how do you tax a slave? That's what American citizens are, legally. We have no standing in a court. And if they're flying that gilded war banner flag, you are just chattel. You can be sued in another state without you being notified. Furthermore, you may be a resident in one state and be found guilty, contempt of court, on a legal proceeding that you were never notified by, and the law allows it to happen. They can actually establish a bench warrant for your arrest. Goes on to say, members of the public have no constitutional right to be protected by the state from harm inflicted by third parties. We talked about that. No constitutional right exists under the 9th Amendment or to any other provision of the Constitution of the United States to trust the federal government and to rely on the integrity of its pronouncements. That's why you and I, as a citizen, we cannot remove the President of the United States. We can remove, by recall, those in Congress, those in judges, governors, city councilmen, women, but we have no recourse as individual citizens and when we are being directly impacted negatively. Because you see, as a slave, you're chattel. Chattel doesn't have any rights. The only rights that we have is that which has been granted, and anything that has been granted can be rescinded. Members of the public have no right to petition for a redress of grievances. I know one case of an individual that won not once, but twice, and then won in arbitration against a corporation. But because the corporation knew the state law, they went for a third bite at the apple, and finally they got the ruling they wanted, which happened to be negatively impacting on the plaintiff, or excuse me, the defendant in this case, who had already won twice in court. The United States District Court for the District of Columbia is where cases, it's where the case We the People Foundation Incorporated et al. Versus the United States. You see, this has been fought already. The limitation of the American citizen, it's about to get a whole lot worse. They're about to pass the Patriot Act 2. God help us, whatever God you believe in. Under a particular case, the right of petition in the United States District Court for the District of Columbia, this case was just recently, U.S. Supreme Court issue landmarks decision, Constitution is void. That ruling stated there are no sovereign citizens in the United States. That is an oxymoron. You see, at the Revolution, the sovereignty devolved on the people, and they are truly the sovereigns of the country, but they are sovereigns without subjects. This gets technical, with none to govern themselves. The citizens of America are equal as fellow citizens and as joint tenants in all the sovereignty. So the minute that you, or what we call we the people, said, wait a minute, wait a minute, we're sovereign. We have rights here. What we did not realize, what we did, we agreed to take on the debt of the United States, going back to the West Indies Company, these other companies that you heard about when you read in school, never knowing they were corporations. They had more legal standing than the government of the United States. This has been declared and found to be true in international court. In the Court of London, this has been established. It is also in the Court of London where the case of the United States filed bankruptcy and declared its citizens, as chattel. See, to say you're sovereign is to be supreme, absolute, uncontrollable power by which any independent state is governed, supreme political authority, paramount control of the Constitution and the frame of government and its administration. This is Black Law's 5th edition. Constitutional law, one that owes allegiance to a sovereign and is governed by his law. When you say I have rights under the Constitution, you have no idea what you're saying. It's a spell. The natives of Great Britain are subjects to the British government. Men in free governments are subjects as well as citizens. As citizens, they enjoy rights and franchises. As subject, they are bound to obey law. When that happens, now I can actually come in and force you. You have no rights to bring under control or dominion, to subjugate. Excuse me a second. To make oneself amenable to the discipline and control of a superior, to make liable, predisposed, to cause or force to undergo or endure something unpleasant. Citizenship basically means membership in a political society and implies a duty of permanent allegiance to that society. Gets worse. Citizenship. The status of being a citizen. Also see corporate citizenship. Did you realize that we are all subjugated to this corporate government? So what is a person? Black's Law. Go and read this. You can see it for yourself. Citizenship is, by definition, a condition of allegiance to and participation in a governmental jurisdiction. It means, for a collective order, a pledge of loyalty, commitment to activity participated in civics and community, and willingness to serve when and where called upon. Citizenship begins when the individual, but is nurtured by the country. So you see, the fact that you grew up in this country expended resources that you consumed and used. You thought it was a right. No, there's a cost. And you pay by that for working the next 45, 50 years paying taxes. Sovereigns are not citizens. Citizens are synonymous with subjects, and subjects are synonymous with slaves. As in subjugated. So look at this case again below. Now this goes back to King George, folks. Yeah. You see, King George maintained his sovereignty over his subjects. So did the 56 signers of the compact gain their sovereignty because they signed the compact and not the rest of the people? The answer is yes. As a U.S. citizen of America, you are a debtor under the 14th Amendment due to your choice of nationality. At the Revolution, the sovereignty devolved on the people. When that happened, it all changed. And then it gets even a little weirder. Because remember, states have signed the federal charter. That's what it is, not the damn Constitution. They signed a charter. This all goes back to charter law. Nothing has changed. It's the fact that the vast majority of Americans today, including the electorate that they elect, they don't know history, they don't know the law, and they don't know what it means. But we go through this nonsense of this whole election process, when in the end, it doesn't mean anything. So it goes on, the principle comes to this, that the state in making the Constitution intended to give up the power of self-preservation sovereignty. So the states are saying, yeah, you're right. These people born in our corporation, our subsidiary, they are in fact chattel to you. But we will take them, and if they declare that they are a citizen of a state, then the federal charter allows the state now to tax you because you're a citizen. You are not a signatory to the Compact or the Declaration of Independence of the United States of America. This has been proven in court and upheld by the Supreme Court. And they did not pledge for you. They did it for their posterity. You think that some colonists had some rights? Then why did the colonists not participate in any election or any vote? During the third presidential election, why did only 10 governors vote? I'll tell you why. The colonists had no voice. These men were proprietors of a company, the East India Company being the grand corporation with its red, white, and blue striped flag. Remember the Jungle Book? The tiger was named Shere Khan. It's a Shere Khan. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. So who did the establishing and the ordaining? It was the people of the United States who ordained and established. The delegates signing the Constitution are establishing the Constitution. They didn't sign for us. It's the biggest con game that's ever happened. It was for them, not us. We did not include us. They were protecting their posterity, their interest, not ours. They established rules and regulations. The one doing the establishing and ordaining is in the superior position. Article 6, Clause 1 says, they assumed the debt repayment assurance of the United States of America to pay back the debt to the king. The word country actually means to count trees. It was the count of the trees or the rent of the woods that was an accounting procedure for the exchequer, or in this case, the Virginia Company and the East India Company. We have no rights in the United States because we are an American debtor under the 14th Amendment. The United States of America is bankrupt and has been since the drafting of the Treaty of Paris. Now, I'm going to go on because I want to get on to another subject, but this gets back all the way to the laws 400 years ago. And it is amazing, folks. It hasn't changed. We as American citizens, the way that our elected officials have spent money, they've burdened us with a debt. This is slavery. It's paramount to being literally shackled. And even when you die, if you owe taxes, guess what? Your relatives will pay those taxes. You see, King George never ceded all of his corporate enterprises. He retained his ability for taxation and subjugation of those that enjoyed his benefits. And there is a payment that, believe it or not, is still being made. This is crazy. And this goes all the way back to the Carolina Charter of 1663. And I won't get into it again, but folks, when you begin to realize what is taking place, it kind of makes a little bit of sense, in a sense. Yeah. And it's amazing when everything is going good, the status quo is being maintained. We don't care. And if you don't care long enough, eventually what you don't care about will be taken away. It's going to go. The laws of the universe hates, avoid, waste. And if you have a gift or a talent and you don't use it, someone else will. So this is impacting us today because, again, if you know how to approach a situation, understanding what your position is, it allows you a lot more clear cognitive thought. And so the way I see it is that there is this whole element of compassion. We're in an environment today, and you ask yourself why, where it's vengeance, retribution, payback. And we're smart enough to understand you plant that shit, that's all you're going to get. And the thing that I have found in life to be true, it's the weaker emotions. When people are of weak minds, their spirits are weak. They always fall back on this, and they try to proclaim themselves as the enlightened ones, the righteous ones, in which it's just the opposite. And so now we have this spirit, this energy that has cloaked the collective consciousness of this country. And as so often happens to the world, we are the example of what's happening. It's dark. It's ominous because it's devoid of compassion. It's devoid of any humanity. It's devoid of any love. It's only accusations. And who among us can say that he or she is above another person morally, spiritually, in any way? You're a hypocrite. By the definition, that's a hypocrite. And we've lost this. Again, it's just merely my opinion. But what 1969 brought to the new decade of 1970 was turmoil, chaos, upheaval. But what it had that this doesn't have, it had Woodstock. It had the flower children. It had the hippies. It had that generation that ventured out into the existential realms of consciousness. And we, that mindset, that spirit of intent was enough to permeate the upheaval that was taking place in 1970, 71, 72, all the way into 73. We went through the tribulation, reckoning ourselves individually and collectively, and we lost it. Many of us are the remnants. We represent that spirit, that energy. My generation, we are on the way out. And we look back and we see the upheaval. And many of us recognize that there's no love. It's devoid of any compassion, again, any empathy. And as we leave this world, it appears that this world is going to be a much, much worse place. The dark winter is, in fact, here. But I believe, and I will always believe this, that even if there is one that will stand amongst a billion, that one light of hope will shine on all the billion. And that's what we have to do. We can't be hard on one another. We can't be accusatorial. We can't be judgmental. We can't isolate because of a different idea, a different perspective. And if we don't start doing this individually, then obviously we haven't done our job. It's the thing that I have with prophecy. I didn't hear anyone prophesying this. I didn't hear anybody. But it's here. So where did we fail? Obviously, we weren't strong enough. That's my question. Where did we fail? Is this all just bullshit that we just talk these existential ideas that we say that, magic, the occult, the gnosis hidden? Is it just all bullshit? Just a bunch of nice, fluffy words and nice meditative things? I'm going to get into my Zen moment. Or is it real? Does it have foundation? They are using spirits. Hear me on this. There are dark spirits that have been called from a place that most humans have never even known about. These are ancient deities that are now in Washington, D.C. You can see by how their effect are on all the humans there. It's very plain. It's not being hidden. These are dark, dark forces. They're living beings. Trust me. And I can't help but not ask myself, then what are we doing wrong here? I saw that True Divine Empress, Jennifer Roberts, she did a group meditation. Jenny, how did that go, by the way, hon? Let me know. And, I love it that the fact that individuals are taking the initiative and saying, listen, I'm going to do something. I'm going to do something here. And it may be just me and two other. It may be me and just another. But we're going to do something. We're going to get to a group meditation and we're going to start focusing, because if we don't come against these forces, they're bringing others with them. And there is no empathy for humanity. These beings, these creatures, They don't look at us as friends. You're not going to be a friend's request on Facebook from these cats. They're powerful, and there is a risk if you try to approach them with your mind. I cautioned you, brother and sister, be very careful. They're here, and I don't see them going away. I don't see any counterforce of the world coming against them. And if you think you're in another country that you've got some time, you're wrong. Great. Jenny says, it went really well, and we are going to continue and move that energy, and we've come to the match their force and not be subservient to it. Great, Jenny. This is what we're going to have to do. If you're a healer, now is the time to start plugging into the ethereal, putting your energy in thought. Thought is energy. Lilith and I were talking. She is the original thought in this realm. She is the divine feminine, the divine masculine. It gets a little deeper than that, but the point is, modern man, I'm going to tell you what she told me. Modern man no longer calls on the living gods or goddesses. We've been so deceived, so lulled into a palsy, that now that they've come back, I did a video, I guess it's almost 4 or 5 years ago. It was the same time that I was with Steve over at WSO. But I had this vision, and it came to me, and it was reaffirmed when Patrick was on, when we talked to the planets. I believe what I saw is here. And we've got to ask the question, what are we going to do? I mean, I don't need to point out everything that's happening. This is a different energy. This is a different substance. This is not your feel good, let's dance in the street, have a party, because they won't let us. Yeah, Robin, Patrick, I think, saw it as well. So we're going to spend time on this. Everything that we start learning, we've been learning. We're going to look at it and say, all right, I'm really going to get into more of Baphomet. I have to tell you, this is by far just a fabulous book. Was up late last night reading it, and it's I like the style of writing. I think some of the choice of words could be a little different, but nevertheless, the content of the information, and we're going to get through this, is going to go through it because it has to deal a lot with the whole goddess. I wonder, and it's just a thought, what would happen if we collectively called upon the goddess? Lucifer's female, you know that. If Lucifer exists, some debate about that. I've covered it well in depth. But if Lucifer is a tulpa of the essence of either our thought or someone else's. Lucifer is female. All life is female. But within that construct is exactly where we get the polarity. Without the polarity, the chemicals can't come together. And without the chemicals come together, it will not initiate the spark of life. And in that moment, if you can go deep with me, if you can go to that very moment when that essence, and it's literally on the quantum, folks, there are universes that are being absolutely birthed into the realm of existence. It's that powerful. And if we can comprehend that, we can overcome this, because I'm telling you, this is a strong, I've never felt anything like it. No, it's see, infallible destructus Lucifer is a fake entity. God is, yeah, yeah, yeah. You know, I don't think, I'm not disagreeing with you. As I said, I've done the research. Lucifer is a made-up construct. We can thank Jerome for that. That plagiarizer prick. But anyway, but there is the polarity of essences of energies, whether we say it's of the nothingness or if it's even above that. What we do know is that there is something here. And I have been out. Listen, when I used to cast out demons, it was an interesting thing. As I look back upon this now, I often wonder, um, what was it that I was actually casting out? Is this really a phenomenon that, I have seen it, pretty weird stuff happens, but is it all us? Are we generators and manifestors of this intense energy? And if we are, which there's plenty of evidence that would back that up, then I contend that the spiritual realm is as complex as this realm, if not even more so. It has a hierarchy, and it is not stable over in the spirit realm. There are battles that take place over there. There's one taking place now. And those battles, because most people are never engaged in them. But if you see and if you touch that ethereal force, there are huge battles taking place in the ethereal realm, or what we call the spiritual realm. And it's going to have an effect right down here, and it's already having an effect. We're living it. Lynn and I was talking, and she says, all right, so tell me. She says, I agree with you. She says, something's changed. She says, I can feel it. I said, yeah. So she looked over at me and she says, so, Mr. Seer, what do you call this? And it was funny. Without hesitation, I said, honey, the dark Sith is here. And it's brought its armada with it. And because we're so hung up collectively on what the spirit realm is, they move in with very few humans ever sensing them. And as they get themselves established, listen, what has 2,000 years of religion brought to man? Nothing but pain, nothing but bloodshed. That should tell us that we've gone down the wrong path. I don't know about you, but I'm tired and fed up of the hate. Man, we have so much potential. Where is it that we've forgotten about loving one another? I think it's because we hate ourselves so much that we want to put the mask on, because the mask allows us to mask our true feelings. And because we've been silenced for so long, and folks, I'm not just speaking of here recently. The collective consciousness of man has been silenced for thousands of years. The brief moments when we've had those, what they call the golden eras, those brief eclipses, where enlightenment came. I think we can do it again. I really do. All right. Yeah. Tomorrow I got Trina on. We're going to be on a second look. And Sarah Horton, I want to get you on. Like to see if you got time on Wednesday. So excellent. Josh, I'll do that. All right, cool. And you know, folks, that's how it is. We're different. We're all different. That's the beauty of us. You know, I wouldn't ask any of you to say, hey, you should sign on to my platform. No, we can join platforms, but all of us have to walk our own path. And it's cool to wave about it, and listen, nothing wrong in being friendly. I am reading this book. I just want to tell you, and I've ordered, I have an electronic copy, but I've ordered a hardback copy. This is the far out book I have really. How many of you know Terence McKenna? How many of you've read Food for the Gods? We're going to get into that. Um, you know, thank you, Jenny. Thank you. But real quick, folks, our spiritual nature comes because our ancient ancestors, all the way to the primates, that they broke off. And as Terence points out, and this goes along with this, they were eating mushrooms. You see, they followed the herds. Back then, they had much bigger animals. But the psilocybin mushroom grew naturally out of manure. And because of the hunger, the mushrooms, they were edible, allowed this branch of primates. And when they started eating the mushrooms, they became enlightened. And from there, the rest is history. Uh, see, Susie, uh-huh. I'm a big fan. Listen, I'll just be honest with you. I'm a big, big fan. I think that Oregon did the right thing. I think other states are going to follow it. We'll see the legalization of psilocybin. They're finding out, particularly in VA studies, that people who suffer from post-traumatic depression, microdosing is, can you imagine this? Actually brings them into a better state of well-being and consciousness. Who'd have known? When I was on my own at the age of 15, I took my first mushroom and LSD trip at the age of 15. Who'd have known? Those mushrooms, let me just tell you, I know I've gone over, but when I lived down there in Spring, Texas, there were lots and lots of cows. There were cow fields everywhere. And you would see them and usually I would take the girl I was dating with and a couple of others. And at 5:30 in the morning, we were out there picking mushrooms, baby. And I got to tell you, it's when the cows surrounded us that I said, what is going on? And they did. They literally surrounded us. And it was as if they were having a conversation, to us. And of course, our consciousness had elevated dramatically, and all of us were hearing a different conversation, but it was quite interesting. All right, folks. So good to see everyone. I hope you had fun today. Listen, if I could just leave a smile with you, then, and if you've shared that smile with everyone, make sure to give people the hug. Come on, teddy bears need hugs too. And isn't it odd that no matter what your age, we have this tendency that we love the cuddly things? Isn't it odd? No, we're just human. That's all. Don't eat while you pick. Kent, you've got it, my friend. You have got it. Sarah, I think we should. Wouldn't that be a hell of a party? I mean, yeah, I'll tell you, that would be a happening, Sarah. That would be a happening. No doubt about it. In fact, I'm trying to actually find some good mushrooms on that, but hey, we all have our searches, don't we? All right, folks, big hugs to everybody. Sarah, let me know if you can come on Wednesday. It'd be great to have you. All right, everybody, appreciate you. Much love to you. And we'll see y'all tomorrow. All right, bye-bye.